it, man. Number 18 on the podcast. How are you, Steve?
Fantastic. Love it.
One of my favorite places today is where we're broadcasting from. We're at the Perfect Pear. We're at the brand new location in Chandler, right across I say right over the 101.
I say down the street, right down the street from the Chandler Mall.
It depends on where you live, how you articulate where things are. That's probably fair, right?
Exactly.
So, big show today. We are going to get on Katie, the director of the Care Center, which you're going to learn a lot more about. We're going to get the owners of this place, the Perfect Pear, on, Chris and Laura, in just a little bit. And we're going to start with the director of public relations and marketing. Barb Savoy, she is going to join us today along with her good buddy, Cheyenne. How old is Cheyenne, Barb?
Cheyenne is 8. We believe she's about 8. She was about 18 months old when we rescued her. So,
okay.
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about, what this organization is. I want to talk about the dogs. I want to talk about the fact that this dog has got an entire bowl of chicken in front of him and not doing anything.
It's a her, please.
Do I keep saying he?
You call her a him.
Oh,
she doesn't mind.
She doesn't?
No.
They're okay. She seems real sweet, man.
Okay.
Cheyenne with a beautiful name. So, let's talk a little bit about the Friends for Life Animal Rescue.
I would love to.
I want to know, one of the first things I was thinking, Steve, was in 2024, so right here, right now, or I guess we're in 2025 now, what is the most common way people go about getting a pet?
Well, it's always been you have your shelter pets.
Yeah.
Your rescue pets, or you have your breeders, pretty much.
Okay.
And sometimes you have pets that are passed around from family members. Somebody finds themselves in a situation where they're moving, they can't take the animal with them, a family member ends up with it. But for the most part, it's going to be a breeder or a rescue.
Okay. Do you remember, Steve, your first dog?
Of course.
Tell me about it.
Well, the first dog I remember my parents had to give away, we got when we were too young. That was Taffy. It was a cockapoo, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I was just too young.
Yeah.
They're very fragile. I was trying to probably play hockey with it. And and I'm just saying, it just wasn't our,
I like the name Taffy. It's a great name.
It was a great name.
Yeah.
I was just telling somebody the story. It's one of those distinct memories. As a child, I remember when my parents gave her away. Actually, I remember that scene, and they were like, "Wow, you were young." I'm like, "It was, that's."
It was a traumatic
moment.
moment.
It was a traumatic moment. Yeah, where's she going?
Yeah.
She's going bye-bye.
Am I next?
Yeah, I remember being young and they had to put down one of our dogs, and I still remember what a traumatic event that was.
So that was mine. How about you?
Well, we had a little dog named Squire. I'm not sure what kind of a dog Squire was. Probably a mutt of some sorts, right, as we used to call them back in the day.
We called them blends.
Blends?
Blends.
No? They're not mutts?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Blends.
I like
or
mutts.
mixes.
Do we not like mutts? Is there too much of a negative
There's
connotation?
a negative connotation with mutts, yeah.
Oh.
They're mixes or blends.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, go with the times. It's a blend.
What about you, Barb? First dog? Do you remember your first dog?
Oh, yeah. We had a Weimaraner that would crawl in the cribs with us when we were kids.
What a gorgeous dog.
Yeah.
If we're rating dogs, Weimaraners are one of the most beautiful dogs.
Beautiful. His
He's
name was
big.
Mac. Yeah,
Mac.
he was awesome.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about what you're doing day in and day out with dogs like Cheyenne. Is Cheyenne one of these dogs that we're hoping finds a forever home, or are you the forever home?
I'm a foster failure. And in fact, we've done the math, and I am the biggest foster failure in the history of Friends for Life. So there's that.
So how big of a failure? I'm excited to hear this.
She has 14 dogs.
No, I've only ever had 4 at the same time, but every foster I've ever had, I have failed. Every foster. I've adopted them.
You end up keeping
them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can see why. Cheyenne's pretty sweet.
Right? She's
so
cool.
you're 4 for 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, actually worse than 4. I've only had a maximum of 4 at any given time.
I got you.
Have failed probably 10 times.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What makes the way that you guys do things differently than others? Or maybe there isn't really any differences, but what is the special sauce of Friends for Life?
I would say the biggest special sauce for us is that we're powered by volunteers, including myself. So public relations director sounds super important. I negotiated a salary of 0 for this role.
I have one of those jobs.
Yeah. So we're powered by volunteers. We only have 3 employees. So over 90% of every dollar donated goes directly to the animals.
Okay.
We also, Friends for Life is not just a name. We make a lifetime commitment. So we've traveled as far as Alaska, Florida, Wisconsin, Kentucky. They're chipped. We're the primary contact on the chip. The adopter is the secondary. So if they ever find themselves in a situation where, they need to get back to us, we will get them back to us one way or another.
I watched a piece, Steve, online, and there was an animal that had been adopted out to a family. That family couldn't take care of it anymore. Long story short, it found its way back to you guys.
Yes.
Yeah. And off that, actually I have a question for you. Finding the right family and making that connection. Can you share some advice you'd have for people when they're looking?
So that's probably one of the other distinct things about us is that we're not what we call a point and pay facility. So you don't walk through the door and wander through and see all the animals and point at one and say, I think that animal's really cute, I'll take it home. We actually have you go through a process. So before you come in, you fill out an adoption consultation form. So we find out about all the members of the family, what the activity level of the family is, what their likes are. And then when they come in, we look at their form, we assign them to an adoption counselor, and we introduce them to the dogs that are going to be, or cats, that are going to be a good fit for that family. So if you've got a family that's super active and they love to hike, we've got, a husky, a 1-year-old husky in the kennels right now that would love to meet you.
Really? Yeah, that's good to know. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Specifically, give me a couple of other animals and what their strengths would be, because somebody's going to be listening to this podcast and they're going to go, you know what, I love to hike. Let me look at that.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got all kinds of dogs right now. So we have, in our care at any given time, we typically have about 100 animals between cats and dogs.
100?
Mm-hmm. So only a limited number of them can live on site.
Yeah.
So we have a network of foster homes, which is a great opportunity for us to find out about the animals. How do they behave in someone's home? Which helps us to match them with a family as well. So, we look at activity level. If we've got someone who really wants to, be a couch potato, then we've got some great dogs that would love to sit on your lap and keep you company all day. That's
really?
Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. So, and then same thing with the cats. We've got anything from kittens that are young and they're rambunctious and they need a lot of attention. And then we have, cats that are really, really mellow and docile and just would love to be a lap cat. So
my question, 100, you have 100 at all times pretty much.
Yeah.
So the question is, with all these other agencies out there doing the same work, is this kind of like where this number is? I mean, does it go up or down, or have you said, what makes it? Yeah.
So ours remains at 100 because we're limited in intake no-kill facilities. So until somebody gets adopted, there's no room at the end.
Well, my question is this: more overall, the spectrum of the dog, the animal adoptions, dog and cats. So I want to know more about overall, does this number fluctuate year to year? Is this like a
in
steady
terms
number?
of, are we talking about Maricopa County?
Yeah,
Okay.
Or even this area. Maybe
So
yes,
in Maricopa County, essentially during COVID, everybody was home, and people who had previously not adopted because they felt like they weren't going to be able to commit enough time. That was the first time we ever cleared the kennels, honestly.
So Mathew, that's what I was wondering. Has it ever been I
Yes.
want to adopt a dog. Oh, sorry, we don't have any. Good problem to have, right?
Yeah,
gosh.
absolutely.
So they did. Okay, that's good.
So our big
That's
adoption day is
fast.
Saturday,
Okay.
and then we're closed Sunday, Monday. So we would run around Sunday, Monday, rescuing all the dogs that we
Yes.
could bring them in.
That must have been
So
fun.
then Tuesday
That
was
was
fun.
the good old
It was a
days.
blast. It was a blast. And then, with the economy, things fluctuate. So the long answer to your question is yes. When economic conditions get tighter, then we find people who are trying to surrender because they can no longer care for an animal.
Which I can't understand. That's probably for a different show. That's kind of giving your.
It's hard for the
giving your
families.
kid away. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, if you
can't, if you
really
have to
choose between a human and a dog, come on, this can't
Yeah,
be
but
that
I mean,
tough
but
of a
yeah,
decision,
but if you
right?
could also
because there's people like you here.
Yeah, but
because
you could
there's
also
places.
kick a case of beer a week too, and buy the dog
Of
food.
course.
Right.
I'm not suggesting there's ways around it, but I think
That's
some
what I'm saying.
people like I'll defend them. Like if you get to a certain stage of the game
Sure.
where there's
Right.
this or that, like we have to be
Of course,
fair
reasonable.
and honest
Yes.
and reasonable
Right.
people
Yes.
and go, okay,
Certain.
there's organizations that can take our animals, that
Yes.
can hopefully find them a new home and a new place. But yeah, there are
And-
probably people that just kick them to the curb
just-
way too
yeah.
fast.
Yes.
We truly try not to be judgmental about anyone's circumstances because honestly, when it's an economic situation, we've got families in tears in our lobby saying goodbye to their. It's difficult for us as volunteers to watch. We know it's going to be okay because we know, but that family is losing a family member, and that's
Heck
really
yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more actually, since I asked the question, happy to hear that
Yeah.
that then there's situations where there's more like just people
Yeah.
more callous and just dropping off their dogs. I mean, because they know it's in good hands at least. You're going to find
Yeah.
somebody for when you see that situation. You're going to find somebody.
Yes.
For that, a
And
good
we've
match.
come a long way. So I've been volunteering with Friends for Life since 1999. And I can honestly say, back in 1999, a lot of this was still agricultural area. And so people had the misconception that a domesticated animal could survive in the wild. And they would drive out to these areas that were rural at the time and abandon and so that was where we were doing a lot of the rescue work was, finding animals that had been abandoned. Thankfully, we don't have so much of that anymore. We just simply have animals who have gotten lost and don't have any identification, and we're trying to find their family. We're desperately trying to find their family, and if we can't find their family, then we're putting them up for adoption.
How does it work? How does somebody get involved with Friends for Life and try to take an animal in? Does everything start at your website
Yes.
and kind of looking to see who's available? I mean, walk us through that experience.
Yeah, so if you wanted to adopt, it would start at the website. It's azfriends.org, and you're going to go to the Adopt tab. She's trying to run away from home. Aw.
Cheyenne, how
you're-
about some more chicken?
Right? We'll bribe you with chicken because that's how we roll. So you're going to go to the Adopt tab, and then it's going to ask you if you want to adopt a dog or do you want to adopt a cat.
Uh-huh.
Then it's going to ask you to fill out a consultation form at that point, which is where we're going to find out about all the different members of your family. We're going to ask your whole family to come in when you come to meet the animals so that everybody can get introduced to the animal and we can make sure that it's a good fit.
Okay, so we start at the website. We find a cat or a dog that we're kind of attracted to in that
Yeah.
way, where we're like, okay, it looks like somebody that could be in our family. Now what? Now is there an on-site visit? Do I need to come down?
Yes. So you're coming down and you're bringing all the members of the family that live
Bring
in the
everybody
house,
with.
including the dogs.
Okay.
So if you have a dog in your house, please don't bring your cats. They don't like it. They don't like to come see us. But bring your dogs, and we're going to match you with an adoption counselor.
Okay.
Who is going to, based
That's a
on
great
what
idea.
your answers are on the form, they are going to determine, hey, we've got these 7 dogs on site that might be a good fit for you, and they're going to start the introduction process with those dogs, including we're going to do an introduction to any children. We're going to do an introduction to any other dogs in the family, the adults. Everybody is going to go through the intro process, and we're going to make sure it's a good fit before everybody
Maybe
goes
like
home.
a dumb question, or maybe one you can't answer, but like, how do I know if I have a dog at home that isn't going to be good with other dogs? Is it as simple as how they act on a walk? I mean, like, because how else do you know?
No, so you would. So that's probably an unfair question for me because everybody in my family has dogs, and we're all very social, and the dogs are all very social
Got it,
together,
got it.
so it's obvious. You really can't tell from when you go on a walk because even she is reactive sometimes. If she sees a dog that's acting a little hyper on its leash, she'll start barking at it. And if you didn't know, you might think that she's not good with other dogs, which couldn't be farther from the truth. And she's, by the way, also really good with cats, which is great. So, yeah.
Looks like she's good with just about anything as long as there's a bowl of chicken
Right?
in front of her. All right, well, let's get Cheyenne adopted. I mean,
Yes.
I know that would be sad for you, but ultimately happy for you because
Well,
at
no,
that
because
face.
she's already adopted in my house. But
Oh,
there's lots of
that's done.
Cheyennes.
Okay.
There's lots of Cheyennes
No,
looking for homes.
Oh, Cheyenne's not available.
No.
She's
all right,
yours.
that's
Okay.
fine. That's fine. She just come down here to offer a little
She's
more
our
support.
spokes dog.
Yeah.
We call her our spokes dog.
She's doing a great job. Who is some of the dogs or cats that are on your radar right
Yeah,
now that you
tell
really
us.
hope would get
What
adopted
kinds?
quickly?
Yeah, so Duchess is one that I would really hope. She's a bigger dog. She's young,
When
but
you say
she's
bigger dog, what does that mean?
she's a large breed, so she's probably 60 pounds.
Okay.
So she's she's young, so she's going to require an active family.
Okay.
Brando, same thing. He's young. He's going to require an active family. We've got Boris, who's an older dog that would just love to be a lap dog. That would be his dream job, to be a lap dog.
Okay.
And so those are some of our longer term and maybe more difficult to place animals that we're always crossing our fingers. And then same thing with the kitty cats.
Yeah, I just want, and we're almost, as we're wrapping up here, you've been there for a long time. You mentioned 1999.
Yeah.
A memorable story of joy that maybe you can share, an adoption story.
Happy adoption
story?
story?
Something to leave with some inspiration. Somebody out there that's listening.
So one of my favorites, and it was very shortly after I first started volunteering, we got contacted by Maricopa County Sheriff's Department. They had a little bully mix, a little pit bull mix puppy that had accidentally been dragged by the bumper of a car. And there was an arrest made. The person was under the influence, but this dog needed attention and ended up with us. And so this dog was bandaged, you can imagine, bandaged from head to toe. But he would sit on the front stoop of the adoption center, and no one could pass until he got to give them a kiss. And he was so adorable. His name was Charlie. And when Charlie got adopted, his dad, for years, up until the time he passed away, sent us photos of Charlie like hogging the bed, hogging the couch, living his best life.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Love that story.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, if there's room for a little fur baby in your life, it seems like Friends for Life might be a great place for somebody to start.
Yeah, we're really excited. We've been nominated as Best of the Desert for the East Valley as far as shelters for the last 4 years. So that's,
Proud of that,
for a
yeah.
little volunteer organization, that's a big accomplishment.
Yeah, because you guys aren't funded. There's no big grants coming your way. It's all volunteer based.
Yeah.
Over 10,000 dogs or in cats.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a
Over
lot.
the years,
That's a lot.
yeah.
Final question for our listeners. I'm sure you need things, food, leashes.
Yeah.
What other kind of stuff would be helpful?
So if we're going back to the website at azfriends.org, there is a wish list.
Beautiful.
There, and it'll take you right to Amazon. If you don't want to come see us, Amazon will drop it off. If you do want to come see us, great, you can, and bring your items in.
What type of items? What do they?
Just as you were saying, leashes, food. We are constantly pleading for cat litter, which sounds crazy, but when you have that many
makes
cats,
sense.
yeah. So, but yeah, if you go to the wish list, any of the items, cleaning supplies, people don't even think about cleaning supplies.
Dog
and
shampoo, cat shampoo.
office supplies. I mean, the adoption contracts, we have to print them out, and we need toner and all that
And
stuff.
what about just funding, straight out donations?
Oh, yeah. You can donate on the
You
website.
write her a check right now, Steve?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe if you had a dog.
There it is. All right, good stuff. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Barb.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, really nice to meet you. We're going to take
Pleasure.
a quick break. Pay attention to a couple of our sponsors, and when we come back, we're going to sit down with the owners of Perfect Pear. Chris and Laura will be right here in these two chairs. We'll see you in a
Sorry
second.
for that. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
What makes Bella Set lingerie so unique? For starters, check out the vast selection and size range. Cups from A to K in styles like balcony, plunge, wireless, strapless, and more, including mastectomy and maternity bras. With superior customer service and free professional fittings, it's the go-to bra shop in the East Valley. Locally owned, with 2 locations in Ahwatukee and Gilbert. Check out our glowing reviews on Google and Yelp. Visit bellasetlingerie.com to learn more.
All right, segment number 2 on the podcast, and I'm really looking forward to this one because, friends, I want to be honest with you. There's a restaurant that I have fallen in love with, and this love affair started years ago in a small little restaurant in the Ahwatukee foothills, right there at the corner of Desert Foothills Parkway and Chandler Boulevard. And it was such a good restaurant. And why was it such a good restaurant? Because they had the most unbelievably robust salads. And the grilled cheese and their pasta dishes, and my kids loved it, and my wife loved it. As a matter of fact, we held her 40th birthday party. It was a surprise party at Perfect Pear.
Nice.
And we invited all of our friends, and everybody came down, and we had a huge spread. And today we finally get to sit down with the owners, Chris and Laura, from the Perfect Pear in their beautiful 3rd location.
Chandler, Arizona.
Are
number
you
3.
guys losing your minds yet?
Yes.
Yes? Welcome to the podcast. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for being here, guys. So you guys are an Ahwatukee family. We know that because our kids went to pretty much all the same schools growing up. But did your kids? Is your oldest or youngest at DV now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
Junior.
your daughter went to DV.
So she finished DV, and not to just jump in the fray, but I'll jump in
Jump
the
in
fray.
the fray, man. We're
so really, I go back as far back in the Perfect Pear with these guys as you do, not from our kids, but from we did one of our events there for the magazine.
Oh, you did?
When they
What'd you
first
do?
opened, so it was amazing. So it was the review. We had people in the community, and we got a flavor and a taste of that. And all I'll say is I just remember from that day that it was different in a very good way. I went out and I said, this is a different concept, and it was refreshing. We hated to see you leave, but really they just went right down the street, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, but it was a much bigger location.
Yes, it was better.
A lot more exposure for you guys. Like, I was thrilled for you all because I thought, wow, this is a serious upgrade. And then you guys got the Tempe location. Hello. Like,
Yeah,
location.
Yeah.
That's insanity right there on University Avenue. And now you've got this third location that you've just opened up in Chandler. So before we start all things Perfect Pear, I want to know a little bit about you two as a couple. How did you guys come together? How did you meet each other? What is the love story there?
Well, we met at Payway. We opened the original location that was right across on Ray and 54th Street.
Okay.
So right across by AJ's. We were original employees and just original store. And then we had the opportunity to open
worked
that. That's where we
together,
met. And then we ended up with Payway. We ended up opening locations all over the valley, and then throughout the country. We opened the Dallas, the Fort Worth market, Arlington, all the way through Orlando, Fort Myers.
So when did
Carolina.
you look at him and
Everywhere.
go, like, we should get married?
Well, we just celebrated 20 years.
So did we. Congratulations.
Congratulations, yes. Well, we were together about 4 years before we got married, and I don't know what happened. It just felt right.
Yeah. So restaurant's been in your blood for a long time.
Yeah.
What was one of your first jobs at a restaurant? Were you like a busser
Both
and a
of us.
server and
Yeah.
all that
Yeah.
stuff and a cook?
That
Where?
started. It was Ziti's Pasta Gallery was my first restaurant, which they're out of business now. But
Are they?
yeah, but as I started as a dishwasher, moved my way up, prep cook and busboy and the bit.
I was
you-
a food runner at Oscars. Remember Oscars?
Oh,
in
I remember
Ahwatukee?
Oscars. Yeah. Yes.
Did you
I
work
was
in
the
the
girl
food
handing
industry?
out the
What's that?
breadsticks.
Did you work in the food industry, Steve?
No, did not work in the food industry, but
No?
I just went to the restaurants.
Yeah.
I know where. Yeah.
Where
Yes.
Pita Jungle is now? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I remember that.
That was my first job.
Yeah, I'm so intrigued that Payway has a stamp on your business. I mean, I think that's intriguing, knowing you, because a lot of people see the independent business owner and surviving, growing, and really, it's good to know for the audience to know that you actually had a background in this too. You just didn't jump into this. I mean, when you're opening stores, you obviously you've got the task and the responsibilities for a big company doing that. You learned a lot, and so I'm not shocked anymore. I did not know that, so I knew we'd learned something. That's something. It doesn't shock me.
But it makes sense.
It makes sense.
Because you
It does.
learned a lot in those experiences, right?
Yeah.
You
Oh,
had big
absolutely.
corporation systems in play, lots
What
of
they
things
did right,
to
what they
integrate.
did wrong. I mean,
And we
right?
had incredible mentors
Really?
through Payway. Oh my gosh, yes. That really kind of changed
It's a good
our path.
top organization. They're
Yeah.
still thriving. Doing
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
big
great.
thing,
Do
yeah.
you guys remember the decision to open up the very first Perfect
Yes.
Pear? Walk me through that. Like, you guys were doing other things, I'm guessing.
That's her.
Do you want the truth?
Yes, we want the
Yeah,
truth,
we
the
want the
cold
truth.
hard truth.
We just kind of got to, our kids were really little and got to this point where nothing felt right as far as like job opportunities after we left Payway. We had moved from Florida back here to Phoenix. And I looked at him and I said, if we're not going to do it for ourselves, you need to get out of the restaurant industry. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you said,
Yeah.
we're going to pour all in on us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we went really all in. I don't know if you want to hear that story, but
Sure.
we did borrow some money from family, but just small amounts of money, and then we maxed out 2 credit cards, sold a house, and used the proceeds. That was and then we went to the bank and got a small loan, and we had to slightly fib to get the loan because it wasn't a business expense, or it wasn't a business loan, so we had to tell them it was a personal thing. Anyway, Yeah, we just
It's
went
amazing
all
stuff.
in.
Yeah,
Don't you love the all-in though,
That's
man?
the entrepreneur story.
Yeah.
Mike State 48, same
Right.
thing. Remember, he talked about that a few shows ago.
Yeah.
All in.
Failure wasn't an option
Right.
for
Well,
us.
people always. We talk about that in that show. People see, they see Perfect Pear now how it is. They forget about what those years took to get there, and a lot of people just think you just jump in like this is how it is. It's the 2-3 years and even prior that you guys learned to do that. No, I think it's. Again, I'm very impressed with your new restaurant, by the way.
Thank you.
And I mean, the concept. Where did you said the first restaurant? Where did you get that first menu? Where was the thought process?
Yeah,
behind
let's
that?
start talking about food.
Yeah,
please.
let's talk
go.
food.
Let's start talking about food.
It was just like home recipes. There are some ideas that are stolen or borrowed,
Don't say
elaborated
Can you
from
cut
other
that out?
restaurants. Like it wasn't we would like
Well, I always say if you've stolen from me, you've stolen twice. So don't worry about it, man. Like, who cares?
Inspired by. That's
but
a better-
we did use like some of the best restaurants that we had eaten at. We would say, okay, we want to duplicate this menu item because it's delicious.
Right,
so we want
right.
to duplicate that.
Put your own twist
But we've
on it.
always put our own twist on
Yeah,
it, for
for
sure.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, you have to.
It seems very authentic. I mean, what you did is you succeeded.
Yeah, I always wonder how restaurateurs come up with their menu, especially at a place like this where there's a lot of different options to choose from. How much of this is like, I like this, and then are there items on the menu where you're like, I would never in a million years order that?
I think so. I've been a vegetarian for like 25 years, so a lot of our menu, leans towards that, and then we also have a lot of items that he would enjoy. So it was
Okay.
kind of a way of combining both, where we could go out to eat at a restaurant and both find something we love on the menu. That's really part of the inspiration behind it. But yes, our menu has grown tremendously over the years.
And does
I
your
mean,
favorite thing on the menu shift over time, or is there one and I'll start with you, Chris, is there a menu item that has like stood the test of time for you?
Yes and no. I mean, I'm always inspired to try new things, but
Yeah.
like Marcella, I can tell you. I mean, there's a handful of items that have been on our menu since our day one 11 years ago. So those have to be delicious to stick around. Because if they were not doing it well, we shouldn't have it on there.
Which
Okay.
which ones are those? Would you say?
Well,
There's quite
the
a few,
Marcella,
actually, yeah.
the Marcella pasta has been on there from day one. But there is a lot. There's a handful of sandwiches.
Chima's mac.
Our
Yeah.
mac and cheese,
Yeah.
the grilled cheese. A lot of those are from day
a
one.
lot of our salads are too, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's so. As far as favorites, I mean, it changes. I always say my favorite's whatever's left over, or like the kitchen. It's like whatever the
Whenever they
mistake
get
is.
sent
Yeah.
out? Yeah.
That's mine because then it doesn't go in the trash. It just
That-
I already paid for it once.
That's a fair way to. What about you? What do you really like to order off the menu?
I love the mushroom marsala. It's probably one of my favorites. I'm a pasta girl, or the chipotle vodka, a little spicy. It's delicious too,
Huh.
but it does change. I mean, we've been eating a lot of the same food for 11 years,
This
right?
is one of
So-
those places, and I have to commend you on this because I'm a picky eater, not in the sense of like I can only have chicken fingers and macaroni and cheese. I just have some restrictions on my diet, and they make going to restaurants a pain in the ass, like a gigantic pain in the ass, because I always have to modify everything. And when I come here, I literally don't have to modify my two favorite dishes. I wrote them all down.
Oh,
I
yeah.
figured people would be very interested. If you want my all-in order, you ready, Steve?
Yes, go ahead.
If this is how you do it right at Perfect Pear. You start with the black and blue Brussels sprouts, topped with the bacon and the gorgonzola cheese and that chipotle ranch. Like, forget about it. Have you ever had it?
No, I haven't had it.
Okay.
Delicious.
Why? Because are you worried about Brussels sprouts?
No, I love the sprouts at the ranch. Hold on the ranch.
Okay, hold the ranch.
We have a different kind. You'll have
Okay,
to
there
try.
we go.
Yeah.
Then you march on to the perfectly grilled cheese with the 4-cheese blend and the arugula. It's so freaking good. And then they put the bacon on it, which is like takes it to the next level. The best thing on the menu in terms of like what I love is the carnitas, the tacos.
Yeah.
The cabbage slaw on there with that Southwest sauce is so legit. It's so good. I could fire off 10 of those things. Thank God they only come out with 2.
Yeah, I got a blink because now you're gonna say that, I can't believe you said that. That is what I order every time.
The
The
carnitas
carnitas?
tacos?
Every single
They're
time.
so good.
They're so good. I got nothing. I'm a picky eater in the sense that when I like something at a place, I kind of get it all the time.
Yeah.
I just because I go to a lot of places, so when I show up, I'm like, I love that all the time,
Carnitas.
all the time.
If I don't get carnitas, then I'm ordering the Cabo spicy Cobb salad.
Yeah.
which is so full. It's like it's a full entree salad.
Yeah.
It is so filling.
And how about their teas too? They have specialty teas, that's my, when I'm eating, I'm interested in what I'm drinking.
Yes.
And cleanly,
Yeah.
the teas are delicious.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Final item, Gma's Mac. My kids get it all the time. The cup of coffee. It's so freaking good. So there you go. We'll put that on the website if you want
That's
to
like
order
the whole
my menu.
That's like the
it.
whole menu.
It's not the whole menu. That's the beautiful
Just
thing.
kidding.
But there's an app, there's a sandwich, there's some tacos, and there's a salad. Take your pick.
Throw an appetizer in there. Throw another one.
Yeah.
No, the food is
It's all good, and it's all delicious.
It's
It really
so
is.
good. Do you have a main chef that typically works all this out, or is this from YouTube?
It's all
It's
ours.
us.
It is.
Yeah.
Has there been any, when you guys were experimenting with this foods, any weird combinations that all of a sudden worked? Like through it, kind of like this is good.
I would say like our Tukey pear quesadilla. Like
Yeah.
that sounds really odd, right? And it's a huge seller.
Oh,
Yeah.
Even the pear grilled cheese that he mentioned. So the baker brought in this bread, and we went home and made the sandwich. There was a sample, and we went home and made the sandwich 7 different ways, and that's how it got to the menu.
Yeah.
So that wasn't even going to be on the original menu
Really?
until they brought us the bread, and we were like, "Oh, this bread's phenomenal! Like you have to make an item out of it."
The bread
And that
made
was
the
Yeah.
sandwich.
The bread
Yeah.
make the sandwich.
I love that.
And it's still our like top seller.
Is our number 1 seller still.
There's a
At all
story
3
behind the
restaurants.
story. There
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
I have so many questions about the restaurant industry that I feel like are kind of entertaining to talk about. And let's start with customer service. It's changed a lot in the last 20 years. It's definitely changed a lot in the last 10. Hell, maybe it's even changed since COVID.
Probably.
So how do you all in 2024 work with, because you're in a restaurant, so you're working with the younger people typically, right, for some of these positions. What's the training protocol here? Like, how do you guys instill your values in the people that you hire to make sure that your legacy gets fulfilled?
I would say there is a bit of culture that starts, right? And I think some of that stems back from the original location. I mean, we have a manager one of them's 10 years. I think all of our managers right now, out of 6 of them, have been with us no less than 7 years.
Wow.
All
Right?
promoted from within.
All promoted from
Amazing.
within.
Yeah.
And we have servers that have been with us that long. We have cooks that have been with us, like no joke, 8-9 years. And so I think that part of it is the culture, right? So it's the people that keep it going. It's not necessarily us. Like maybe we started it and we still hold those standards, but it's the staff that supports the vision, and they've helped guide us to this point. It wasn't just our vision, and they've gotten us to this moment. And so when new people come in, it's not really, they don't haze people, but you'll know right away if it's not a fit.
Oh, okay. Well, it's good. You got a protective group, maybe.
Yeah.
That's the way
We
to
do,
put that,
yes,
right? Like,
yeah,
they're really
yeah.
protective of the energy that gets hired and brought in here because
They care.
They,
Yeah.
they care.
They do care, yeah.
And that's a great
Yeah.
thing.
We're very
Yeah.
blessed.
Okay.
We have incredible
So it is
staff
people.
at all 3 stores.
Is it harder and harder to find people that want to work? That's a thing that we've heard over the last couple of years, and I haven't always believed that, but maybe you can tell me.
I think COVID changed things for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, but we still have tremendous luck with new hires. I mean, we run into a few that
Yeah. Is
But-
it usually people that are sitting at the restaurant eating and then they're like, I like this place. I'm going to ask for a job here.
Sometimes,
More or less,
yeah.
especially university, all those campus, the students, they come in to eat first, and then they're like, this is a place I would want to be around.
Yeah.
But since COVID, high school kids don't work anymore. I don't know what they do.
That seems
But
very true.
we used to have
Yeah.
this influx, like Awatuki. Those were all your kids, our
I know.
kids. Those were our neighbors, right? Those were and they were all 16, 17, 18
Well,
year old
if
kids.
they're listening out there, they got to get working again.
Yeah.
You need them working, right?
Yeah.
Everybody
Well, my
needs help.
oldest is working at In and
Yeah.
Out, but my youngest is actually looking for a job right now, and he wants to work in a restaurant industry.
Nice.
So I'll have to tell him
Send him
about.
out.
Yeah.
I'll have to tell him about the pair. He would love. He
Yeah.
would be such a fit here.
That's
yeah,
great.
He, totally, and he's been going there since he was 3 years old.
Probably.
How old is he now?
He is 16.
Is he a junior at
Sophomore.
DV? Sophomore? Okay.
Yeah, and then I have a senior. So you guys are
Nice.
about the same, right? Or did yours already fly the coop?
Our son graduated in 23, and
Okay.
our daughter's a junior there. Yeah.
Amazing.
It's funny I say the difference in the generations. My son, my older son, who went to DV before COVID, he was a worker. I mean, shout out to him. He went out and actually got a job at Pizza Hut by
Yeah.
himself. Didn't even came home and told us, I got a job. delivered all his last 2 years of high school. He worked. We didn't have to pay
I
for
got
his
my
gas.
first job at 14.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean,
Because I grew up in a house where if you wanted anything extra, it was on you.
But our generations, truthfully, we all were. It was a different thing. I mean, I had a paper route. I shoveled snow. I mean, all the way down the line. It's
Mowed lawns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Definitely
It was
mowed the lawns.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Buffalo, we shoveled snow. That was a big money maker. We had a big snow day. We were like, get the shovels, boys. We had a little gang. Oh yeah. With about 5 guys, we just go destroy about 10 homes.
So what is the legacy? We used that word a few minutes ago, but what is the legacy here for Perfect Pear? I mean, I applaud you guys. It can't be easy to get 1 off the ground, and then 2, and then 3. Or is it getting easier now that there are more? Is the 4th in the making already?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
She might argue.
I need a year.
Yeah. Because it's a lot, right? There's a lot to it.
It's a lot. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, people ask us about exit plans, and I don't know. Part of me is just, I think, through our development in the restaurant business. So we opened the original Payway, and then we opened between us. Well, we're at like over 35 restaurants open between the two of us. For different corporations, different companies, for ourselves, and so I think that's always been in. Like, to me, it's like if you're not growing, you're dying. So that's always been like, we might as well just keep growing.
Good motto.
Yeah, and that's just my attitude. So I think, I don't know, I would keep going. Just, I don't know if there's an end in sight.
Yeah.
I don't know what the right answer is for sure.
Keep going until you don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
keep building until people stop showing up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Right. It's like,
this is a big valley. I mean, truthfully, if you really had, they really want to grip it, there's room for, 20 of these minimally.
I agree. And the other side of that, you say you keep growing until people stop eating. It's like, I think we do have such a great brand, and we're, we have lines out the door for lunch and dinner.
People are crying for the local homegrown, and now they've got your story. I mean, this is about as homegrown as homegrown can get. I mean, from the meeting to making the ingredients to the where you guys are today, from Awatuki to these restaurants. So, I mean, really, the sky is the limit with the concept. It's really probably what you guys decide. Ultimately, I'm glad you guys are kind of batting it around and doing what you guys feel is right, because that ultimately, I think, if any experience I had in life, is that's what's most important, what makes you guys happy.
Yeah.
So, weigh it out. Yeah, weigh it out.
did your kids work in the restaurant with you guys? Did they have mandatory shifts there?
Our daughter, she works actually at this location and our Ray and Priest location. She's a hostess. And our son, he used to work at Ray and Priest, but he started his own business, so he's busy doing that.
Nice. What's he doing?
He does mobile detailing.
Oh.
Yeah, Foothills Auto Detail. I'm
Good.
gonna give
Shout
him a
out
plug.
to him. Hey, we get him over here doing our cars.
Yeah, he
Nice.
will.
We
For
can have
sure.
him on at every podcast
Yeah.
detailing people's cars.
He
Yeah.
actually wanted to come to kind of see how this whole thing went, but he's detailing a car, so he couldn't make
Hustler.
it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Business.
Yeah.
Busy.
No.
I like that.
Well, I'm thrilled for you guys.
Thank you.
And it's
Thank
been
you.
so freaking cool to watch you grow. And I really do, man. I wherever you want to go, I hope you're able to go there, because it's a great kitchen. It's an excellent menu. It's a great vibe when you walk into a Perfect Pear. You know the food's going to be delicious, good ingredients. You've done it right. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I'd back it up on the culture you created, and it's very comfortable. So, congratulations. Again, like, we're very impressive.
So North Tempe, South Tempe, and now in Chandler, Perfect Pear. You can find them online.
Down the street from the Chandler Mall, I say.
Yes.
Easy mark for
Come
me.
have a bite to
Yes.
eat. And all right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll still be live from the Perfect Pear, but we're going to bring in the director of Chandler Care Center, Kahle.
Yes.
We're going to have a chat with her and find out what that center is all about, who uses it, what they go there for. So hang on, and we'll be right back. Thank
Looking
you guys
forward to
again.
it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Appreciate it.
It's time for our third and final segment here on our Move the Needle podcast. Steve, do we save the best for last?
Let's hope so.
You're supposed to say yes,
Yes.
dude.
Is that the
What do you
answer?
mean?
I said let's hope so. I
so.
wasn't even that convincing.
think so.
I'm always thinking of everybody else's feelings. I'm like,
Steve's like, I don't know. Let's see how she does first, and then we'll
Right.
make that
Reserve
determination.
judgment.
I'm sorry. We just had 2 other amazing guests, and I just don't want to hurt their feelings.
You're not going to hurt anybody's feelings.
I know.
Except for Katie.
I know,
Katie's got
sorry.
her
I
feelings.
know. It's like, now she's at me. Sorry. No, you're
Katie
amazing.
Kahle is the director of Chandler Care Center.
Yes.
And I want to talk a little bit about what that is because I think I know.
Okay.
But like a lot of folks, I want to get some clarity surrounding that. So first up, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Thanks
So
for having
great.
me.
This is our very first podcast that she's ever
Yes.
been on,
Very
Steve.
first one.
I wouldn't be able to tell.
well,
You're a
thank you.
natural.
She is a
you.
natural. So you've got the Chandler Care Center.
Yes.
And to me, when I'm reading about it, it sounds an awful lot like the Kyrene Foundation's Resource Center that I'm familiar with Kyrene.
Yes.
You all are connected to Chandler Unified School District.
Yes, we are.
And in what capacity are you connected to them?
Yeah, so we are very similar to the Kyrene Family Resource Center that's in the
Yes.
Kyrene School District. The Chandler Care Center was started in 1995 by Chandler Unified School District, and we provide some of the same resources as Kyrene does and some different ones as well. So we started in 1995 as a response to really needing to address some of the needs of our community, everything from providing emergency food boxes to access to resources for families. And as we grew and the city of Chandler grew, as you're probably aware, the city of Chandler has grown like 50% population increase in the last 20 years.
Oh
and
my
so
goodness.
really rapidly growing. And as our population grows, of course, the population of people that we have that have a need in our community also grows. And so we have grown over time. Our building now is located on Galveston, which is just kind of right near Chandler High School in downtown Chandler. And we provide family resource center services. So we do family support, early literacy, language, school readiness programs for families with kids. We also have a food bank that's open year-round. We have a variety of other services in our building,
Medical,
including WIC.
dental.
Yep. Yeah, and we have actually our Chandler Children's Medical and Dental Clinic is a nonprofit that's located in our building. And the thing that makes us sort of unique from other family resource centers that are connected to school districts is that we provide no-cost medical and dental care through that clinic for children who are uninsured in our community.
Okay, so I wanted to call the elephant in the room is really
Yes.
we need all of this in Chandler, Arizona, this big, beautiful, affluent zip code with all these fancy businesses and people and the beautiful burbs.
Yes.
Like that's really happening in our backyard, and you can say, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. So, I mean, Chandler obviously has grown a whole lot. Our economy is really strong here. It's a great place to live, to work, to go to school. Chandler Unified School District is obviously one of the largest school districts in the state and one of the best rated school districts.
Yes.
But we do have areas within the city where people are struggling. And not only do we have areas where, people kind of deal on an ongoing basis with struggles, but we also have people in our community who face things like job loss, inflation, home loss or foreclosure. Those kinds of things can really disrupt them. And so when you have a household where a parent is working and they lose a job and then they don't have insurance anymore and those kids need shots to go back to school, the kid's got a cavity and needs dental work to be able to focus, those kinds of things are really important to provide in our community, we feel.
Who would you like to know about your place?
Everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because I mean, that's a nice answer and everything, but I would think like there is a certain group of people that really it would be nice to get in front of them because
Yes.
you wonder, did they know about this?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. How do
the
people find out?
Yeah, so because we're part of Chandler Unified School District, we're fortunate in that we get to share that information within the schools. So we do send out information to our families in our school district and let them know about our services. We also are part of a statewide family resource network that we share that information through. So it's obviously very important for potentially eligible families for our services to know about it, and also people who are looking for a place to give support. While we're part of the school district, our funding is really almost entirely through donations and grants and tax credits. And so we do rely almost primarily on the generosity of our community to be able to provide our resources. So I think, for people to be aware that this does exist in Chandler and that there is a large population of people that we're consistently helping with those services is really valuable.
Because like our last guest said, there's nothing worse than making a dish in the kitchen and it has to go to waste, right? There's nothing worse than having this great place with all
Right.
these resources and they're left untapped. People
sure.
aren't using them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so there's obviously you're making a profound impact on a lot of these people. Can you share some of the inspirational stories of that you've worked through maybe in the community?
Sure. So currently we're actually getting ready for our annual holiday distribution. So this Saturday, the 21st of December, we will be providing toys to, we have 1,350 kids registered to receive gifts, and those go from birth all the way up to age 18.
Wow.
We are one of the toy drives that does serve all the way up through when the child leaves high school, essentially, because,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, the
the
older kids
teenagers
get
need
forgotten,
love too.
man.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
get forgotten.
So we like to make sure they're taken care of. One year we had a family that came in and we had a bicycle that was donated, and they weren't expecting to be able to get one, and so we were able to bring them into our building, and the mom and son were able to walk out with a bicycle together, and mom was just in tears, hugging everybody, thanking us so much for it. So it's great to be able to do that. One of the other profound things I think that we're able to do in our medical clinic, we actually partner with Dignity Health. So we are an outpatient facility through the hospital. And we have volunteer providers who can provide general pediatric care to kids. But for specialized care, we really have to rely on our community partnerships to do that and on our funding from grants to allow us to do that. And we had a child recently who came in who had a cardiac issue. And the child was living with a relative. Mom and dad were not around. And we were able to get that child a referral to a cardiologist and help pay the cost of an initial assessment to find out what kind of medical care he needed. And that's really, I mean, that's life-changing when you think about it.
Of course it is.
Oh, for sure.
Why do you do this?
Me personally,
Yeah, like what is the motivating factor? It's not the fame, it's not the paycheck.
it's definitely not the fame or the paycheck. I mean, I think that I am an Arizona native. I grew up in Tempe, and I live in Chandler now and have for many years. And I think being able to give back in your own community to really see that impact, it's kind of it's a double-edged sword, because my kids tease me all the time that when we go out in public, we always run into somebody we know. Of
course.
Which is good. And sometimes when you're at Home Depot on a Saturday and your yard work closed, it's not so great. But I think being able to see that impact directly in our community, you know, being able to get to know families that live in the neighborhood, to see the difference it makes for a kid who's able to go back to school when they've been dealing maybe with a chronic illness and they're able to get taken care of, to see the impact that it makes on a family when they have food for their family for Thanksgiving. That's something that's really meaningful to me. I think I was raised to give back, and I just think that's the best thing I can do with my time and my talent, is to really, you know, make sure that the community is taken care of and do what I can.
So it feels good for you to build these strong communities.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yeah, Katie gets her hands dirty. She's in the mix. I mean, that's what she's saying. She's not just she's not floating from above. She's she's in the mix.
In fact, I was looking at how dry my hands were today because we were sorting toy donations in cardboard boxes, and I thought, I hope they don't.
I love that.
I hope they don't
It'll
focus
shred
on
you.
that.
No, we don't typically ask for the
Don't
hand
show
shot
the
on this
hands. All right.
podcast. Yeah, it's not something that we've done. We can
Yes.
start it today if you like.
That might be a little. Maybe I'm not the first. You know, maybe next time I come back.
So,
yeah.
so Chandler care, Katie care. So that's really what comes out is that you care. You care
Yes.
about the community. You care about these people, and you get to see the results, which
Yes.
satisfies you. Which I love that.
Yeah,
that's
thank you.
nice. Yeah.
How can your community support you more? What are there things that you're looking for? Are there things that people could do, whether it's time, treasure, or talents, to help you out?
Yeah, so really we do have a need for all three. As I mentioned, most of what we do, we support through grants and donations. And so with end of year giving, that's obviously a huge push for us. The Chandler Care Center is a qualified charitable organization in Arizona, which means that tax credit donations can be made to us. All of that money goes directly into helping support kids and their families in our community. So that is one really significant way that people can give back. And then they can get that dollar for dollar tax credit back, obviously, when they file their taxes for 2024. We're always collecting donations for our food bank. We do food bank services year round and serve just under 4,000 families a year through that. So families can come in every 2 weeks for that service. So we go through a lot of food.
So what do they get every 2 weeks? They come in and they get a couple of bags filled with some non-perishables?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And then also typically we have frozen meat, sometimes frozen fruits and vegetables. And we do try to supplement that with hygiene items. So a couple times a year we'll also give families everything from shampoo and conditioner, body wash, toilet paper, really all the things that you need in your household.
Yeah, you want people to think about the most simple, basic things that need to happen. I remember this story, and I love sharing this story because it's so profound, but I had a friend once upon a time that was looking to help out a school that was in a low socioeconomic spot, and she thought she was doing this incredible thing. She went out to the store, she purchased 20 turkeys, and she brought these turkeys to the school, and she said, here's 20 turkeys, give them to the families that you think would need them. And the school administration looked at her and they said, what are we gonna do with this?
Right.
These people, they don't have kitchens. They don't have the proper cookware to even cook the turkey. They don't have plates to eat it on. Like, you put the cart before the horse.
Right.
And we could do that if we're in our own stuff, but dial that back. Get basic, get simple. It is that. It's deodorant. It's feminine hygiene products. It's diapers for babies. Like, it's all the little things that people need just to function on the most basic level.
It absolutely is. And, it's funny you mention that, because I think this time of year we all see the social media posts that go around about here's the things you don't know that food banks need. My advice with that is actually, I always tell people I know, call the food bank you want to donate to, visit their website. Most of us do have an ongoing list of items we collect. One example of that is that people always recommend bringing things like milk and butter and jarred spaghetti sauce. Well, we have limited refrigerator space, and jarred spaghetti sauce is likely to potentially get knocked off a shelf by a volunteer and break. And so, we always encourage people to really reach out to organizations before you donate, find out what they have the most need for and how you can connect with that. We utilize a lot of volunteers. In particular, we're always looking for people interested in working on our food bank year-round, and with our holiday drives especially too. They're wrapping up really for this year, but it's an ongoing need that we have for those donations. So we always try and share that as much as possible on our website and social media, so people can kind of really tailor their donations to what we're most looking for.
Okay. How do people find you?
The easiest way to find us is chandlercarecenter.com. That will take you directly to our website. We also are really active on Facebook, same Chandler Care Center, and you should be able to locate us. And then our building is located kind of right in the heart of downtown Chandler. So
on Galveston, you said?
Galveston, between Arizona Avenue and McQueen. So we always invite people to stop by too, because I can tell you about what we do, but I think when people walk into our building, they're always really surprised and impressed. We have a small staff of people who are really passionate, and I think being able to see in person what we do really makes an impact for people.
Yes.
Can I ask you one last question? I don't know if you have any more questions, but I work a lot with youth sports organizations and sports organizations, and then kids alike. They're always needing these volunteer hours and stuff like that.
Yes.
Is your center one where a group could reach out to you that needs volunteer hours and they could come down and help?
Yes, so
because that's not true for everybody.
Yeah, so we do work with youth groups, like sports teams and those kinds of things. It really depends on what time of year they're looking for and what we have available, but we always encourage people to reach out. I think we're really fortunate in Chandler because most of the nonprofits have relationships with each other. We all we convene regularly, and we're really collaborative in spirit. And so if it's something that we are not looking for currently, we're always happy to send those people to somebody we know too and say, hey, we've got a youth soccer team that's looking for something and we don't have it available this weekend. Could you host them? Do you have an activity they can do for you?
Love that.
Yeah, one last question I'd like to ask is, are any new initiatives coming up, any new projects coming up that you'd like to share, talk about? Obviously, you're looking for people to get involved and community partners.
Yeah, so what we're working on growing right now is actually our medical and dental clinic. We partner with Dignity Health, and then we also partner with St. Vincent de Paul out of Phoenix, and then NYU University has a dental residency program we're looking at expanding. I'd say that's kind of where our focus is at the moment. We're always looking for volunteers also. I didn't really mention this, but our Family Resource Center does a lot of things like story time with kids or craft activities with kids. And so if people are looking for a way to get engaged and work with families, that's a great way to connect with us. And I mentioned before that we opened in 1995, so we're going to be celebrating our 30-year anniversary next year. So keep an eye out because we're going to be doing some fun things to celebrate that. And I think it's a great opportunity for people to learn more about what we do.
Yeah. I can tell you this much. I have volunteered at thousands of organizations over the year and donated thousands of hours of my time to these organizations, and not one time have I ever walked away from one of those experiences feeling worse about myself.
Right. Yeah.
Like, they're very fulfilling. They're very gratifying. And what I love the most about it is it offers perspective on our neighbors and like what is happening. Because as I tell my boys all the time, it's really easy to live in the Ahwatukee foothills and think that the whole thing is bubblegum and roses.
Right.
It's even easier to live in Chandler. There's a lot of really nice parts about Chandler, but it's not everybody's story.
Yeah.
And it's good to grow up with that perspective. Don't you think, Steve?
Absolutely. Well, it's truthfully, it's people down the street. It's not that
That's
far
what I mean,
from
right?
everybody's home. It's you could.
Isn't that guy over there?
Your kids could shoot their hockey puck and hit a house that needs help. I mean, that's how close.
Let's
it is.
not bring that
All
up.
of us.
My neighbor's actually really upset with me right now because my kids keep hitting
Put a
me.
puck through the window.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He did.
Yeah.
Oh no.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, all right.
So
Well, thank you so
Yes,
much for
thank
coming
you.
on and helping us understand a little bit more about the Chandler Care Center. I feel like I got schooled now.
Yeah, we did. We're starting to get a full spectrum here of really connecting the dots with a few people that were in the Chandler and actually all the Valley area. So amazing. Thank you for what you do.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for
working
having
hard.
me. I
Yeah.
appreciate
Shout
it.
to the crew. We need to say thank you to Barb Savoy from Friends for Life Animal Rescue, Chris and Laura Hove for hosting us here at Perfect Pear. This is just such a fantastic restaurant. I don't know if you have dinner plans tonight, but I would encourage you wholeheartedly to stick around and have a meal here.
Yeah,
It's
we were admiring the pasta and salad.
Oh, go for it.
And
Get
we also have some Chandler advertisers, Brooklyn V's. Check them out too.
Oh, great,
They
yes.
have Gilbert and Chandler locations too. And
Darwin Wall Real
yeah,
Estate.
shout out for Darwin Wall there.
For sure.
He's right down by you. He's got an office right down by you guys too.
I tell you what I learned on today's podcast. I learned that both of us get the same thing from here, which is the carnitas tacos. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I learned that I'm not supposed to say mutt anymore when it comes to dogs because that hurts their feelings.
What's the right word?
Blended.
Blended. Okay. Good enough. I have
Fair
a
enough.
blended.
My
so-
dog.
Whatever,
My
fair
dog is
enough.
blend. What kind of race is your dog? Or it's
like-
a
it's
breed.
blended.
It's a
Breed.
blended breed.
It's a blended breed.
You're
Yeah.
gonna okay.
Okay, I'm learning.
I'm learning.
And I'm open to it.
Yeah.
Next week, we are going to be up in Scottsdale, and it's going to be such a great event because we're going to have Anna Oliver on from Vitalent. And actually, I think this is the blood drive, no?
Yeah, it's a blood drive. Yeah,
This
it's
is gonna be good.
Very, very exciting. Our next podcast, yes, live blood drive, a new experience for us, and hopefully pave the way of something for the future.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you
Exciting.
guys so much for stopping by and spending a little bit of time with us. Thanks to Max for shooting and
Always
editing this whole thing.
Yeah, shout out to Max. We don't
We don't
speak
Shout
about
out
give
Max.
to
shout
Max.
outs to Max
You
much.
gotta get
but
Max
we-
behind the
we should.
camera. Ginger.
Yeah.
You gotta get him behind the camera. Yeah, he makes the magic
He
happen.
is behind the camera.
I mean, in front of the camera. Yeah.
No, he doesn't want to be in front of the camera.
I
Yeah,
know,
don't
I
think
know.
so.
I know.
All right, Steve, have a great afternoon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
care,
you.
everybody. We'll see you next time.